Hi everyone, thank you for everything and thanks for watching me today. I just want to let you all know what I've been up to and what I've been doing lately. Yeah, so I just got back from some out of town place that I had to go to for a few days. And I just want to let you know like how things are going with my diet and stuff like that. I've been eating pretty easy type of food, like just basically all plants, and just to, because it's easier for your stomach to digest, and it's just generally a lot healthier, and it has like less fats involved, and it's not usually as processed. And so like today I ate some potatoes with cayenne pepper, black pepper, and olive oil, and I also made like this, I blended corn, chili, and tomatoes and some onions inside the blender, and I made like a soup out of it, and you can look at it right now if you want to. So that's what's left of it. And like what I wanted to tell you is that I was inspired to do this video because the older I get, the more I become more involved with my school and my family, my family, and my work. And sometimes I like to do outside volunteer activities. And I'm not always with my mother and my father. And that's the older I get, like, I become more independent. And when I was away, like, I was always thinking about my safety, and I noticed that sometimes you can't really help it but be alone. And being a woman, it's just different. Like, society judges us differently. Like, if society, you stand out like a sore thumb if you're alone and you have to travel. You have to be really careful when you go out and travel. And like, I've been watching these self-defense YouTube videos. I think that it's just good to look at, and just to see what it would take in case you ever do get into like an emergency situation. And some of the things that I noticed about the videos, even though they're reenactments, they're just actors and actresses reenacting like potentially dangerous scenarios, like how to avoid like robbery or rape or anything like that. Even though they're just acting, like one of the things that I noticed is the way that the words escalate to violence and assault, physical assault, and especially when they are reenacting like um you know a woman going out of her car and going back into her car, she's alone, and a man comes up to her. Either he abruptly comes up to her, or if it's like a situation where she kind of knows the man, like if they go out someplace, he usually tries to sweet talk her, and in the beginning she seems really nice, but then as the video progresses, you can see that he starts to come too close to her, and he also starts to like progressively increase the volume of his voice to the point where when she tells him no, or she tells him that she's simply not interested, he becomes very verbally aggressive right prior to striking her or trying to like harm her. I don't want you all to like be afraid all the time, but like sometimes in life you can't always help but not to be alone. Like sometimes in school or for work, you may have to be alone with a man or a woman in like an office setting or like in a classroom setting, and you don't really know that person. You don't know that person. Don't I'm not saying like assume that they're going to harm you. Don't assume they're going to harm you. Always assume the best in people. But just always know that because you have to assume the best intentions in people, there's always like a slight sliver of a doubt that they may end up doing you harm. I mean, you could be in class, you could be at the grocery store, you could be walking to your car. It could be any one of those scenarios. Like it could be anywhere. You just always have to want to watch what you're doing at all the times. Like if you are listening to music or something, you may, and if you notice that you're alone, you may want to take your earbuds out, and just to watch and look around for a little bit before you get into your car or whatever. And like especially if you're alone, even if you're alone with like your friends, in women too, don't always assume that just because a woman is a woman that she may not harm you. Like there have been plenty of cases where women have done just what men can do, which is rape, robbery, assault, etc. And so so like it was just interesting to watch those videos to see like the subtleties in how especially when a man, how the men in the videos acted towards the woman, and when she wasn't really interested or didn't really want to talk to them, it was interesting how like their voices, their words, like progressively escalated into like physical assault. So one thing I also wanted to mention in this video is that um, be careful with how you word things. Like don't always don't be careful with how you word things. We are all emotional human beings, and you don't want to like rub somebody the wrong way, where to the point where they might strike you or assault you in some way. Not that that would have been excusable. Like if she had a reason to say no to him, then by all means say no, and don't really worry about how the tone of your voice is. But in like a normal day-to-day setting, like if you're talking with your family or your friends and stuff, just always be aware of how you say something, like your tone of voice and the words that come out of your mouth. Like don't be abusive. Also, like the physical boundary thing. Like one thing I had noticed with those videos is that like the guy, he would seem really quiet and nice up close, but then when he got too close and she didn't really feel comfortable with him touching her arm or whatever, he became like very abrupt and abusive. Like he wouldn't really accept the fact that she didn't really want to have anything to do with him. So just be careful with your physical boundaries if you can. Like always stay like don't sit next to somebody within arm reach if you don't really even know them and you don't really even trust, you know. So, and if all else fails, always be accompanied by like your mother or your father. But in today's day and age, you know, men and women, especially in America, men and women are pretty much equal. I mean, pretty much equal. Like anything men can do, women can do, and the other way around. It's like the same. So eventually, the older you become, the more used to you're gonna have to be working independently on your own, whether it's going to work, school, or even when when you decide to have your own family, you just have to get used to that idea that you may be alone, and there's no matter how hard you try um, to avoid being alone, you're gonna be alone eventually. So it was good for me to watch those videos just to see what it would really take in order to survive a close encounter with another person that wants to actually do you physical harm. Um, yeah, so let me know what you think about that. I know today's video was a little bit controversial, but I just thought that it would be interesting to see your viewpoints and your opinions. Um, yeah, thanks for your time. I really miss you all. I wish you all the best. And yeah, thumbs up and subscribe to all of my channel to both of my channels, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Bye.